Our circumstances don't define us. Our actions do. We all have moments of impact. What are you going to do with yours? Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and I'm grateful that you are choosing to spend time with us on this show, on this podcast. We just got a yearly recap of the show, of the podcast on Spotify, and specifically a lot of data around all of you that are tuning in, over 40 plus countries. So many of you have marked this as one of your favorite shows, and also you listen to it so much that it actually is recognized as your most listened to or watched show. We're in the top 15% of all video podcasts on Spotify, and subscriptions continue to grow. And all of that is because of you, because of your effort, because of your commitment, not to me, but your commitment to yourself, that you know you're willing to grow. And I've had so many of you over the last year specifically, that have reached out and said that the messages that I'm sharing here, through my own personal experiences and through my own wisdom, has impacted you in a positive way. And no matter how many times I hear that, I will always be energized and reinvigorated and pointed back to my purpose about why am I doing this and why does it matter? And the answer isn't millions of people. It's each of you. It's you, the person listening right now. I'm not trying to talk to an audience. I'm just speaking to you because you're choosing to show up. You know that no matter what area of your life, we always have ways and opportunities to grow. To go from where you are to where you want to be doesn't mean you have to be unhappy with where you are. It could just be that you're more excited about where you want to be. I don't want to create this bad and good and this negative and positive. Maybe it's I love where I am, and I also love the opportunities to go somewhere new. So as I've made this making this transition away from leadership to keynote speaking, I love leadership. I love people. I love the team I get to work with. I love seeing people become their best and fulfill their potential and critically think and grow as a person, but still show up for the people that mean the most for them. That's leadership. But I also now get to do this on a bigger stage, literally and figuratively on a bigger stage, doing keynote speaking and executive coaching, high-level executive coaching for people who are ready to take charge of their life and fulfill their potential. So let's not be in this space of leaving something that you don't like to pursue something that you like, because you take you everywhere. How you think about what you're currently doing is also going to then carry into what you are then going to be doing if you apply the things that we're talking about. So the work's actually more about your internal work than changing your external environment. Those two things matter. Those two things impact each other. But as we dive into this episode, this episode is all about you. The last episode was all about you. It's about choices you're making. It's about decisions that you are confident that you know you can do because you know it matters. Let's start building confidence rooted in purpose rather than previous performance. Who we were before doesn't mean anything when it comes to what we're capable of now. Now, the episode we're going to talk about today, it's easier for me to talk about, but it's so important. And we often look for wisdom, but sometimes we're not open to wisdom if it doesn't align with how we feel about ourselves. And this week is gonna hit some people, because when I talk to clients, I ask them about how are you spending every minute of your day, not just your work day. Because who you are all the time will tell me more about you than who you are just at work when you're trying to perform. But when you're present, when you're at home, when you wake up in the morning, that's what we're going into this week. So I'm sure all of you have heard a lot of things that really successful people do. You hear that they do it. You maybe try it for a little bit, and then you think it doesn't work for me. So like we talked about last week about motivation and discipline, what the secret is not doing extraordinary things occasionally. It's about doing the ordinary things extra and consistently. That's what extraordinary means. More extra of the ordinary. We often we try to look for this simple thing that if I just do this one thing, I'll always be motivated to do it, and I can always do it, and it'll make an impact on my life right away. That is going to lead you in a path of disappointment and honestly losing a sense of your ability to learn and grow. So what I'm going to share with you this morning about the power of your morning. Your morning routine determines your day. You've probably all heard this. Some of you are already thinking, oh gosh, I don't want to keep listening to this. I'm not a morning person. Well, I'm going to tell you, your morning routine of telling yourself that you're not a morning person has been working. You have a choice. Yes, there's natural tendencies. However, we all have the capacity to learn and grow. And I can challenge you in that. So if you've ever had an early morning flight or you had to get up early for something, you were able to do it. So it's not a capability problem. It's a focus problem. It's a purpose problem. Maybe the thing that you don't need is how do I break a bad habit, but how do I start a new one that leads me to where I want to be? So right away, if I told you the power of your morning is going to determine the quality of your day in the sense of your mindset and your habits and your energy and your behaviors, and you've already said to me, you've already thought it or said it out loud, forget that, I'm not a morning person. This is where I need you to dig in. This is where I need you to first realize that's the first part of your morning routine, is telling yourself that you're not a morning person. You can say you're a night owl, and that's fine. If that's leading you to where you want to be, this episode may not be for you. But if you being a night owl is preventing you from feeling the way you want to feel in the morning and having you be chaotic and rushed and out of control and regretful throughout the morning, and you're living a life of high stress and high cortisol and all that, then let me ask a question of, is being a night owl serving you to where you want to be? And if it's not, then you have the choice to change that. So what I'm going to talk about today is the power of the morning. You'll hear people talk about miracle mornings. You hear people talk about all these different things, but it really is so powerful to own the morning. And you're going to hear me say this multiple times, but how you start the day is going to set the tone for everything else. And this is one of the most powerful ways for you to change the way that you think and feel and your energy levels. And you don't have to transform your life. You don't have to change your job. You don't have to transform everything about everything in order to have this drastic shift in yourself. But it will transform your life when you start to focus on your mornings and start focusing on your morning routines. But you don't have to change your location. You don't have to change circumstances or anything else. Just simply how you start the day. Now, right now, if your mornings feel chaotic, you feel tired, you feel stressed, it's hard to show up grounded and present. So all of the other things that we talk about is really hard to do if you don't do what we're going to talk about this week well. But if you own the first hour of your day, you can own the entire day. So I'm a morning person naturally. I have been my whole life. I don't love to sleep. I wish that I could find a way to sleep less, but I know physiologically I need to do some of that. I figured out my sweet spot of how much I actually have to sleep in order to be at peak performance in my mindset and my physical recovery and healing as well. So I have a Whoop that tracks my sleep. Again, Whoop, WHOOP. If you don't have one, it's tremendously informative around the things that you're doing, the things that you're eating and drinking and reading, and your nighttime behavior and your morning behavior. All of it, it gives data to say, is it actually adding energy to your life and years to your life? Whoop now actually has your Whoop age versus your actual age, depending on your habits. Are you older or younger, based on your heart rate, based on your respiratory rate and all that? Now, I'm not saying this is the only way to do this, but I'm saying if you want some data to prove how am I actually feeling physiologically as opposed to just emotionally, a Whoop is a great way to do that. But first, let's dive into why the morning matters. Okay. and how to design one that works for you. So this is where I'm saying my morning routine of waking up at 4 a.m. and having no electronics around me for 30 minutes and drinking 12 ounces of water immediately and reading and not having my phone on me at all and doing all that is my routine because it works for me. So this is where you get to also make a choice on what works for you. What does 30 more minutes of time for you? How does that change your day? How does that change how you show up for yourself and how you show up for other people? Typically, all routines, morning routines in specific this week, but routines reduce decision fatigue and increase your focus. So, for example, on Sundays, I prep my clothes that I'm going to wear for every meeting and speaking engagement and every client call, everything that I have. I spend an hour on Sunday prepping everything, all my outfits for the week. If I have to steam it, iron it, whatever I need to do with it. The reason why I do that is I make decisions once. So every morning I wake up with certainty knowing I have exactly what I was planning on wearing. Now, I know some of you say how I feel in the morning dictates what I wear. Okay, that's fine. You do you. But what I'm giving you is my ways of how I reduce decision fatigue and can increase focus. Because when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to look around for something that I was hoping to find and try to find the shirt or the pants or the tie that I was going to wear. And where is the jacket I need? All that does is take away time from you in the morning. But a little bit of time, 1 hour per week, can set you up for success. Start your day with a plan. Remove the need to constantly make decisions. I make a lot of decisions every day, and I'm sure most of you listening, especially based on who I know you are, you make decisions all day long. And I know when you get home from work and someone asks you a question, not even maybe a deep, meaningful question, but just a question of, how was your day? What do you want to do for dinner? A simple question of what do you want to do for dinner, I've heard multiple people say, sets them off. They don't want to make any more decisions. They just want to be. So what I'm trying to do is encourage you to find a way. What are decisions you're making in the morning that you can make at a different time of the day, maybe once, so you don't have to prep and have this decision fatigue every day. But when you establish routines, you're kind of creating this linear path of your day and your mindset, because with routines, you kind of know what's coming. Your mind is free to focus instead of decide, instead of scramble on where is what I'm looking for and what time is it and where do I need to be and all of that. But simple actions like waking up at the same time every day. I know this sounds easy and it sounds simple. You're like, oh, well, yeah, I set my alarm every day. But are you actually getting up? Or how many times do you hit snooze? I know people hit snooze 5 times. Why just set the alarm? I don't understand why people do this, but people do this because they love that sleep between when I wake up to when I have to get up. If that works for you and you don't ever oversleep and you don't have any sort of panic in the morning because you hit the snooze alarm 6 times instead of 5 times, then maybe this isn't for you. But waking up at the same time, the water that I said I was drinking water, 12 ounces of water first thing in the morning will reduce your cortisol levels. So if you wake up not in a great mood in the mornings, drink 12 ounces of water. Room temperature water. 12 ounces of water reduces cortisol because it changes the acidic nature of your stomach, which obviously we're in peak cortisol state right when we wake up in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, if you may or may not be in a good mood, if you're not in a good mood, don't judge yourself so much. Just recognize it may be a cortisol imbalance. So drink the water, move your body, and review and kind of review the goals that you have for the day, right? There's something powerful about what we look forward to. But within the first 7 minutes of my morning, I'm on my walking pad walking. I walk 2 miles every single morning, depending on whether I walk outside or walk inside. But I already have my outfit ready to go, my shoes ready to go. I have everything ready to go. I don't have to make any decisions. I don't have to look for anything. I wake up, and by 7 minutes after I'm awake, this is me, I'm either on the walking pad or on the road walking, period. Move my body. Nobody needs anything from me at that point. I've already taken care of the people, and I'm preparing myself to take care of the people that I get to have in my life. But when you make those decisions to wake up at the same time, drink the water, move your body, review your goals, your brain is learning that you are in charge of the day. That's the power of that. I lead this day. Routines don't restrict you. They they empower you and keep you focused. Now, restriction, if you want to say that they restrict you, my question would be, maybe it's a new routine that you need, or maybe you need to understand why you have the routine in the first place. So make a comment. What routine do you want to develop, but you haven't developed yet because you haven't attached purpose to it yet? Second thing I want to talk about, which is really, really powerful for most of the people that I talk to, because if you currently go to bed at 1 a.m. and you get up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and you can't even imagine doing something different than that, it's hard to then go to bed at 9 p.m. and wake up at 4 a.m. A lot of people try to do this. It doesn't work. Secret's out. Drastic changes lead to inconsistent commitment. Small changes lead to less threat, less cortisol, less uncertainty, and leads to consistent commitment because you're not threatened by the change that you're making. Small wins create momentum every day, and momentum is what the brain craves. It craves progress. You hear progress over perfection all the time, but like we talked about last week, discipline and motivation, it craves progress. Here's three quick things. This isn't the normal things that we talk about at the end, but 3 things that I do every single day that I had to start here, but I understand the impact of doing it now more than I ever did. First thing is make your bed every morning. There's a great naval, I think he's a lieutenant chief. I'm not sure. I don't want to disrespect his title with the Navy, but he did a keynote and he talks about, if you want to change your life, make your bed, because that means your brain is already in a state of progress. But no matter how your day goes, you come home to a nicely made bed. So make your bed. Second thing is finish and I get it. It's different for everybody with that, but that simple act of, I'm going to commit to something as simple as making my bed, and then also finish and complete 10 minutes, 5 minutes of stretching is what I had to start with. I never stretched, but I knew how good I felt when I did. So I wake up every day and I make my bed and stretch for 5 minutes and read at least 1 page of a book. All of you who have been saying, I want to start reading and I want to read a book, but you don't have time. I don't know how big the book is. I don't know how long the book is, but I guarantee you have 1 page you can read. Because if you have a 300-page book and you read 1 page a day, I'll let you do the math. In 300 days, you'll have read the book. Most of us will not read the 1 page. And then 365, 700 days, 4 years go by, and we never even read half of it. Read 1 page, make your bed, stretch. Like that is the one thing that we can always do to our bodies to help us feel better, to make us perform better, to not groan and moan when we get up from sitting on a chair or, getting out of a car. Like stretching is the thing. Some of it's strength, right? Cardio, strength training, all that. But stretching is the most underrated thing that we have access to do all the time. And the make your bed, finish a 5-minute stretch and read 1 page takes 7 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, less than 10 minutes. But these wins will stack because it's reminding your brain that you're somebody who can commit to what you said, but you also then feel a sense of accomplishment first thing in the morning. And then your body's craving accomplishment and progress, but they create belief in yourself and they create momentum and they build movement. When you doing some of these things aren't a threat and it actually makes you feel good, your body will want to keep doing these things. But the best way to build momentum is to start small and commit to consistency. Now you can try to do all 3 of these things at once, or maybe if you struggle just making your bed, just make the bed for the first week. This is what I do with clients, my executive coaching clients. I sit down with them and we break down the most fundamental goals they have and have them write down, what do you want to be doing? What do you have to be doing daily? Not what do you want from it, but what do you have to be doing? Because we're teaching ourselves that when I say I want something, I'm willing to do what it takes to get it. But that starts with small things, small steps, small decisions. And what I'm saying small, I mean not threatening. They are not small. They are real decisions, the same size of a decision as everything else, because if you can't do the small ones, the big ones aren't going to happen either. Build belief in yourself by doing the small things and staying consistent. And the third thing is probably the most powerful thing that I've had to learn how to do. And again, I read about these habits. I heard about the miracle morning and I just did the things. The what is what I was focusing on. What do I need to be doing? But it didn't really have a profound impact on me until I understood why, until I attached purpose. Design your mornings around energy, intention, and purpose. Energy, intention, and purpose. Not all routines are going to be created equal, right? And not every impact of every routine is going to be the same. So whenever I'm going through my routine, don't try to just copy my routine because it works for me. Now, if you want to try it, go for it. If you want me to sit down with you and we can figure out the most effective way for you to start your morning based on all of the factors that go into it, reach out to me, leave a comment. I'd love to help. But don't just copy somebody else's routine that you saw on Instagram and just assume it's going to work in your life. Again, you're learning more what to do's. The what to do's are not the thing we lack. It's the why to do it and why to keep doing it is the thing that we lack that prevents us from actually accomplishing it and sticking with it. So design your morning, your miracle morning, your motivational morning. We're going to talk about that in a second. But you have to be self-aware to create a morning routine that actually makes you feel the way that you want to be feeling. So what gives you energy? Ask yourself this question. What gives you energy? And coffee can be your answer, but just whatever the list is. Don't judge it. Just write it. Just do it. What gives you energy? What grounds you in intention? What grounds you in intention and what aligns you to your purpose? How often do you think about your purpose? If you want a best time, a lot of times people I say, when should I, how should I? The best time is in the morning. Think about the purpose behind everything that you're doing. What time you wake up, the people you have in your life, the role that you have in your career, maybe the people you get to interact with. Intention and purpose aligns everything. So build around those things. What gives you energy? What gives you a sense of intention? What grounds you in intention? And then what gives you a sense of purpose? But even 20 intentional minutes, living with intention, that's what we do on this podcast, right? So 20 minutes can completely change your entire day. And if you don't believe me, when was the last time you changed something about your morning routine, and when did it change your day? So if you wake up frantic and you're scattered, or one thing goes wrong and everything kind of goes sideways, you kind of feel like you've had a day, but you've had 20 minutes. And so if you rechange and reshift your 20 minutes to something that actually helps you, it will transform the way that you live the rest of your day. So don't just start the day, start it with purpose. Okay. Here are 3 things that I do that I had to do to get this going in my life, but also 3 things I still do now. There's so much power to being intentional. But pick the 3 things, like you heard me say earlier, make your bed, stretch, and read. Pick 3 things that you are willing to commit to for the next 7 days. Don't say that they're small. Don't say that they're silly. You haven't been able to commit to them yet at this point, so don't be against yourself before you're even for yourself. Make them so easy that you cannot fail. Make these 3 things. So you can drink water, drink that 12 ounces of water the first thing in the morning. Just do that. Move your body in some way, shape, or form. Don't judge it. Just do it. And then set your top priority for the day. Those are just 3 examples that I do every single day. I do more than that every single day, but you got to start with 3. You don't get to 20 things in the day. You don't get to 20 minutes in the day if you don't own the 2 minutes or the 1 minute or the 3 minute, however long that takes you to do that. You can drink the water and think about your top priority for the day at the same time, 2 for 1. Then you can stand up and stretch for 5 minutes, and you've done your 3 in 6 minutes. You could probably accidentally find 6 minutes in your day. The second thing is to name your morning. You hear Miracle Morning. If you remember, every Monday, what do we call it? Mindset Monday. Okay, it means something different. It's like, I'm committing to my mindset on Monday. I'm reshifting my mindset from, I have to go to work. Monday's the beginning of the week. I wish it were the weekend. How many days till Friday? We're reshifting and saying, you know what? We're taking control of our mindset on Monday. So maybe you give your mornings a name. Maybe it's momentum mornings. Maybe it's mindful mornings. Maybe it's motivational mornings. Maybe it's my morning. My morning. Take ownership of it. When we name some things, we attach different purpose and meaning to it, but it creates an identity within ourselves of like, this is how I'm going to dictate my morning. When you say you are going to own your morning, it gives energy and intention to it. You then feel personally responsible for how your morning goes. Maybe that's step number one. Okay. Own your mornings. Then the next thing that I do that I've talked about multiple times, most people probably doubt it. Most people don't have time for it. So they say is protect the first 30 minutes. If that means you waking up 30 more minutes, just trust me for the next 7 days. Take back the first 30 minutes of you waking up on this earth. Stay rooted in gratitude. I practice gratitude literally before I'm out of the bed. Before my feet hit the ground, I'm saying thank you. That I'm grateful that I get to another day. That this day is not going to go by without my focus and attention. I think about the people that I love the most, people that I'm so grateful for, that mean so much to me. Not what they do for me, but just that they're in my life and the fact that I get to have them in my life. But the only way I'm able to focus and do that is no phone, no scrolling, no TV, no distractions. But use the first 30 minutes of your day to fuel yourself. Remember, we talked about energy, purpose, and intention. What gives you energy? What helps you stay grounded in intention? And what gives you a sense of purpose? Those things will fuel you. You may not need as much coffee. I know. Bear with me. You may not need as much coffee. If you do more things that give you energy, you will need less things that give you energy from the outside when you find ways to produce and create energy from the inside. So read, reflect, breathe, stretch, write, meditate, whatever the thing is. First 30 minutes. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have 30 minutes, how many minutes do you have? How many minutes? How bad do you want it? And then how many minutes do you have? Two choices that are up to you. So as I wrap up here, your morning is yours. Take it back. Don't be a slave to the alarm clock. Don't be a slave to the what time you're supposed to be somewhere else. You are in control of yourself and your mornings. Take control of your nighttime to maybe be more in control of your mornings. But you don't have to overhaul everything. Start by owning just even the first 20 minutes, the first 5 minutes. Start where you are, but have a goal about why. How do you want to feel? And then remember that you deserve to feel the way that you want to feel. And once you start to be on your own team and be on your own side a little bit more often, you will then start taking the steps to keep more promises to yourself and actually start winning the morning. Think about your morning as the vote or the reflection of the life that you want. Every single moment of the day matters. But if you don't start the day with intention, you may accidentally end the day with intention. But if you start the day with intention, energy, focus, and purpose, you will respond to people differently. You will feel differently about yourself and about the world and about your job and your career and everything else that you get to have in your life. You will feel differently when you start telling yourself a different story in the mornings. So this episode comes out in the morning. You have a choice tomorrow, 24 hours from now. How do you want to start your morning? How do you want to feel in the morning? How do you want to feel throughout the day? Maybe you just spend some time thinking and reflecting on your mornings and how do you feel in the morning and how do you want to feel and why do you feel like you do? Because ultimately, self-awareness and emotional intelligence is key to all of these things. I appreciate you tuning in on this Mindset Monday, and I appreciate how you show up for me, how you show up for the people you have in your life, and how you show up for yourself. You're leading and inspiring more people than you realize. This podcast is now in 40 different countries. We're in the top 15% on Spotify. The top 15%. I did not get there just by showing up in front of a camera. The first step was show up in front of the camera. But then everything else comes from how much I care about all of you and how much you and you subscribing and you liking it and you making comments and you showing up and you sharing things with me or sending me the message or sending me the email, all of it matters. So maybe that's one habit that you can start to give yourself credit for, is actually tuning in for these episodes, whether you listen on Monday or Wednesday or whatever day. Maybe you batch listen to some of these to where you just listen and listen and listen. But you subscribing helps other people see it. So if you want to make a difference in other people's lives, hit the subscribe button, because when more people see that more people are subscribing, the systems, the algorithms, the machines of Spotify, iTunes, Chromecast, everything you can imagine, YouTube as well, they start offering it to other people because they think the machines and technology will learn as more people consume something meaningful and they subscribe to it and they like it and they make comments about it, it may be more helpful to more people. So when I talk about why subscribing matters, it's not so that I feel better about the number of subscribers. It's so that more people get to the chance to be exposed, to learn, and maybe take charge of their mornings, maybe live with intention, look at the world through a grateful lens, and potentially reshape their mindset. But all that's because of you. So every single thing that you do matters, and I appreciate you, and I'm grateful for you. And I hope this episode has been inspiring for you and you share it with somebody else in your life, because you never know what kind of impact you're going to have. So I hope this day is full of gratitude, purpose, and connection for you. I can't wait for the next episode. Take care.